Hi, this is Jyoti here. Welcome to Joe Tech Guru. In today's session, I'm going to discuss regarding database first approach in MVC using entity framework. So let us understand the definition, what exactly the database first approach is. The database first approach provides an alternative to the code first and model first approaches to the entity data model. If you have not aware about the code first approach, I have already uploaded one of the video for the code first approach. Please go through that before going ahead with this database first approach with respect to entity framework. So here in case of database first approach, we are going to create the model codes, classes, properties, DB context, etc. from the database in the project, and those classes become the link between the database and the contract controller. So in the database first approach, we are already having the databases in hand. So we are going to generate the entities, domain classes. In the database first development approach, you generate the context and entities for the existing database using entity data model wizard integrated in Visual Studio or executing entity framework commands. So entity framework 6 supports the database first approach extensively. And here we are going to learn the database first approach with entity framework 6 itself. So here in the database first approach, you can see that all the tables and whatever the databases you are getting connected with the SQL server, using the entity framework, we are going to generate the context or the entity classes. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please subscribe it and click on the bell icon to get the notifications of my new videos. Okay, so let us go ahead with the practical implementation. Open your SQL server. Make sure that you are having a database with a table which is having some primary key. So currently I have got IBM Jan. This is my database in which I have got a table called as company, and company is having company ID primary key, company name variable character of 50 I have taken, employee ID integer. So let us generate the classes for this particular company or company table. For this, let me open the Visual Studio. Create a new project. Click on ASP.NET Framework. This is DB first demo. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Create the MVC or choose this MVC template. Click on create. It is preparing the environment for this. And currently we are using .NET Framework 4.7.2. This is Visual Studio 2022. If you want, you can go ahead and create it in the older versions also. Visual Studio 2017 or Visual Studio 2019. There also you are getting all the templates. Fine. So now the first step is go for the manage NuGet packages. Add the reference for entity framework. Click on the browse, go for entity framework, search it. You will be getting a big list. Choose this entity framework. Click on install. It is going to give you the description regarding the entity framework, which version, what is this one, company name, which has given this, everything. Because sometimes we are concerned with the external sources also. So this is entity framework is a open source. This is an object relational mapping framework which is given by Microsoft itself. So date, published, author, license, everything you can see here. So click on install so that it will get installed. You should get uninstall here. That means it is successfully installed. Again and again, if you are clicking it, you may be getting an error message that it is already installed. So you have to go and check it out, whether in the references you are getting entity framework and entity framework SQL server or not. See, suppose if I'm clicking again, you can just observe here. we are getting an error. Package entity framework 6.4.4 already exists in the project. So let us close it. We have already got the reference. Now, here in this case, models. After getting the reference of entity framework, right click on this application, add new item, search for ADO. You will be getting ADO.NET Entity Data Model. Try to give some different name. So this is DB first model. Click on add. If you are using again the model name, sometimes you may be getting the error. So here you are having 4 different things. The last one is meant for code first approach. This is empty code first model. This is empty entity framework designer model, in which we are going to use this model first approach. This is code first, this is model first. And suppose if you want to do everything from the scratch, you can choose this empty code first model. Now I'm choosing entity framework designer from the database because I'm already having the database in hand. So go for new connection. Choose the server name as dot. It will list out all the local server details. So as I just want to get connected with the IBM Jan company, go for IBM Jan, test connection, click on OK. Here, IBM Jan entities, a connection string is going to get generated in the web.config. So as you can see that in the connection string, it is not only having data source, initial catalog, and integrated security, it is having some of the metadata, which is specifically generated by the entity framework. Click on next. It is going to list out all the tables. Whichever table you want, you can choose it. Currently, I'm choosing this company table. Pluralize, that means companies will be added as a DB set. If you are having more than one table, there will be a foreign key combination that is also entertained here. Click on finish. So it is going to generate all the entities. It is going to generate all the specific files in the Solution Explorer. So we are already having the database. We are already having that table. We are generating the entities accordingly. In the code first approach, exactly we are doing the reverse. We are going to create the class. We are going to create the DB context class also. And then using the entity framework, we are generating the database. So as you can see that now we are having the table here. This is my company table, which contains company ID, company name, and employee ID. So you can see that there is a db first model.edmx file which is generated, and this file is very important. So here you can just see that IBM Jan entities, this is the class which is the child class which is inherited by this DB context. This is my IBM Jan entities constructor, in which this IBM Jan entities is the connection string. So if you go to web.config, you will be having the connection string here. You will be having the connection string here, which is having some metadata. So IBM Jan entities is the name of the connection string. Now, after getting this, our entire table is ready to use. So now let us go ahead and add a new controller. Currently, I'm adding MVC5 controller with views using entity framework. Of course, I want a model class, right? Currently, is there any model over here? No, but here, once you expand it, this db first model.tt file in the company.cs, you are getting this company class. In this, we are having company ID, company name, and employee ID. So now let us go ahead and create the controller. So let me go ahead and create a new controller. I'm choosing MVC5 controller with views using entity framework. Click on add. What is the model class? Company. What is the DB context class? IBM Jan entities. Generate views is already selected. Company's controller is getting added. So many a times it will happen that it is going to show us an error because we'll be doing so many things, and we have to build this solution before proceeding ahead with controller. So again, let me try this controller. I have already built the solution now. Now I should not get any error. Scaffolding is done, and you will be getting create, delete, index, details, as well as delete views accordingly, because we have chosen that checkbox generate views. So in the companies, you can see that there are so many views which are already selected. So now let us not do anything, as we are already having the company controller, as we are already having all the indexes and views. So company's controller is having all these things. So let us just execute the project. So create, delete all these strongly typed view. Templates are already generated. You have to just see to it that everything is working properly or not. So this is my company controller. Within this, I have got index page. Companies, sorry. I have created a company's controller. Within this index, yeah. So I have got 3 records here. If you just go and check it in the SQL Server, select star from company. So let me choose the active database as IBM Jan. Fine. If I'm giving this, I've got around 3 records: Cognizant, IBM, TCS, 102, 103, 123. Here also same thing. So let me create a new one. 5. Company name is Dell. Employee ID, create. So Dell is going to get created. Do you want to edit this? Dell 123, I'll give, save it. It is getting updated. Details about this company name and company ID, back to list. Do you want to delete it? Click on delete. It is going to ask you the confirmation. The item is deleted. So this is the way how you use this database first approach. Hope this particular video will help you in understanding this database first approach. Thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get the notifications of all my new videos. Thank you. Take care.